Hello everyone and welcome to the Break Run. My name is Frank.
My name's Kevin.
And my name is Greg. And today we're going to walk you through some recent updates coming to the Universal parks around the globe.
So recently there's been a lot of news coming out of Universal, not just Orlando, not just Japan, but also Hollywood as well. So I think what we want to do in this video is break down every single thing that we've seen within the past few weeks and talk about what it means not only for the resort that it happened at, but also for the entire Universal Parks and Resorts chain as a whole.
Yep.
So first, I want to talk about the announcement of the resumption of construction at Epic Universe,
Yes.
fourth theme park coming to Universal Orlando Resort. Guys, what do we think about this?
I'm excited. I'm so happy to see that this is back on track. Because once they announced last year that due to coronavirus, it was kind of put on hold, put on pause, a lot of people got worried that maybe we'll just see it go away. Kind of like some other parks in the past that we kind of seen, like almost like Six Flags Dubai, where hey, we're going to build it, but then now we're not. But I'm very glad to see it got greenlit again. I honestly thought it was going to be pushed back even further, so I'm glad to see that it got greenlit now. And that's a great sign for the industry too, because it's saying, hey, things are getting much better. We're going to move forward adding a brand new park because we think it's still going to attract people down here.
Absolutely. And you know, I think there's a lot of cool elements that were rumored to be a part of this park, including roller coasters and different rides themed around more recent Universal movies and IPs. I think of all the rumors we heard, Greg, like what was something that you were really excited to see come out of this park?
Yeah, for me it was the whole part of the Nintendo side. So growing up, everyone playing Super Mario on a GameCube or Nintendo DS and all of that. It was great to see that and to see it already come to fruition a little bit and be reannounced that it's coming back and it's full force. It just makes it anybody who, whether you're a diehard coaster or theme park fan or just kind of a casual type of rider, you're just like, oh yeah, something's coming.
Yeah.
I have another reason to go back down to Florida, visit it, and reignite that whole industry.
I think pretty much anyone can connect to the IP, so which is great to see. And kind of what you were saying, Kevin, I think though now that's going to be pushed back a few more years. So even though it was put on pause for about a year, but with a lot of the construction back work, you got to catch up now. It might not be coming out to who knows, maybe 2026. So even like another 5 years from now, we might see different IPs. I'm sure we'll still see Nintendo, but it might evolve a little bit more from what it originally was when it was still before coronavirus.
Absolutely. But you know, I kind of want to latch on to Nintendo for a second because that's the source of the second key piece of news that came out this week. And that was that Super Nintendo World, the first iteration, has opened at Universal Studios Japan finally after 2, 3, 4, I don't even know how many delays thanks to the coronavirus. So guys, what do we think about this?
So I didn't really get to look into too many pictures inside the land first. We just kind of saw that opening, and it was a great big opening ceremony. But I'm just so happy to see that it finally opened, and from what I'm hearing, it's a lot of positive stuff.
Yeah. Now, Greg, you said you really like playing Nintendo. Like, what have you seen from the land based on the pictures? Obviously, we've never been. But what excites you the most about potentially going, whether it be in Orlando or Hollywood in the future?
Well, besides all the big rides that they've announced, probably the coolest thing that I think is the kind of little bit of a variation to what they use in Volcano Bay with the Tapu Tapu. Having that little wristband and being able to interact with different parts and elements throughout the park, just like hitting a mushroom or hitting the POW sign. Everybody's grown up wanting to be Mario themselves and hit that. So being able to put that on and actually do it and see the interaction, I think it's going to not only bring back people's childhood, but even as their kids and keep the generations going with, oh, this is what you can build a childhood on.
It's almost kind of like when Wizarding World of Harry Potter opened, you could actually cast a spell, and now you could actually do what you did in the video games growing up.
Yep, it's that next level immersion that truly makes you feel like you are there and you are a part of the video game. And it's theme park tech. It's my favorite thing in the world, and I can't wait to see what that technology unlocks not only at Japan, but like we said, there's going to be future iterations of Super Nintendo World at other Universal parks in the coming years. So how will that technology evolve and become even more immersive in the future?
Yeah, who knows? And it is really awesome to finally think about, because we know that this is going to come for years, that it finally got completed. So hopefully one day it'll open up soon in Hollywood and Orlando as well.
Yep. So now let's kind of transition to something that we all love a lot, and that is the announcement that Halloween Horror Nights is back.
Yes.
And I think it's interesting. even though this will be the 31st year of Halloween Horror Nights, they're going with the number 30 because they didn't get to do the full event last year.
Yep.
But last year there was a one-day only spectacle of Beetlejuice, and that is the announcement of the first house coming to Halloween Horror Nights this year in Orlando. Greg, you're a big Beetlejuice fan, and you're a big Halloween Horror Nights fan.
Oh gosh, yes.
What are your thoughts on the resumption of Halloween Horror Nights? What do you think it's going to look like this year?
So it's gonna look different than what most people will remember Halloween Horror Nights, or even have that kind of atmosphere, especially with all of the coronavirus and safety precautions that will go into it. But one thing that has me super excited and excited that they're bringing it back would be the trial kind of parks or pop-up houses that they did throughout the year. They put a couple of them out there, and going through that and seeing what it would be like in the coronavirus world, where you have different things. Obviously these characters can't be in your face, but they can still kind of do lighting and things like that to make it more immersive and get that kind of feel that you're used to at Halloween Horror Nights. And going through the houses, I felt that. And so I'm really excited to see them take that and just expand it to their full size this year. Bring back Beetlejuice, get him his house finally, get all the the diehard Halloween Horror Night fans back out for that. Bring them in for this 30, even though it's technically 31, but the 30 years, and see what else they have to announce, and then they can build around what they've already seen is going to be the basically the future for Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah, and it's great because 2020, when they had those two houses and Beetlejuice for the one day, they were just the trial test run. So now that obviously things are getting better, cases are going down, vaccines are going up, and now we're still about 5 months away from it to actually opening. A lot could get better before we get there, so hopefully things will be so much better that this event could go smoothly as well, because HHN draws a big crowd, so who knows how that's going to work with coronavirus and a large crowd, because now you have people who missed last year, so now there's even more demand for Halloween Horror Nights. But I'm sure they're going to have the time to plan it out, and it's going to be a flawless event, and I'm just happy to finally see that coming back.
So I have to ask a hot take now. Will there be virtual queue at Halloween Horror Nights this year?
Ooh, that's a great question.
And if there is, how would you feel about it?
So I think they'll have to have some type of virtual queue, or like mixed with the limited capacity, whether that be not having virtual queue and not having passes, making people buy one-day tickets or multi-ticket days, something like that. But virtual queue, I feel like, is something that they're going to have to put in, because even if you space out the lines, with the sheer number of people that are going to want to come from missing out and wanting to experience it in a coronavirus world, it's just going to be madhouse. So they're definitely going to have to do it. It is going to be rough. I feel like in the beginning, they might work it out towards the end, and it's going to probably honestly draw a lot of negativity from diehard Halloween Horror Nights fans who come multiple times, or multiple years in a row, things like that. That the virtual queue could actually kind of like, oh, that's not what I want to do, or oh, I have to wait this long now.
So I'm not sure about virtual queue, but you brought up a great point. I could totally see, and again, they have 2 full months. It's September 3rd to October 31st, so it is 2 months. So I'm sure they're going to have the event, who knows, even maybe 7 days a week just to catch up with that demand. But I could totally see them not doing like frequent fear passes, you could maybe do like a 3-night ticket or whatnot, just to limit the demand from your diehard to go every single day. So it might, again, for those diehard fans like us who might have frequent fears each year, it might suck for us. We might have to be able to go every day, but it might help to get just all the different people into the park.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that too, because I guess I never put the dates together in my head. That's starting later than it usually does as of recent years, right? September 3rd. I thought maybe it started in August, but still,
because they always have to wait till after Labor Day.
I got you. So if they could do 7 days a week, if the demand's there, I mean, I don't even know if we'll see frequent fear passes come back ever.
Just like how Walt Disney World's not selling annual passes anymore, so the Universal might have to do the same thing with, maybe not in general, but just at least with HHN.
Yep. So while we're talking about Universal Orlando and we're talking about what's to come this year, I mean, we can't do a Universal video without talking about VelociCoaster.
Yes.
And every day that ride looks to be even more amazing. So recently we've seen more and more footage of people, actually human test riders, on the attraction.
Construction walls going down.
Construction walls are coming down. It's only a matter of time before we get this thing open.
Yeah, so now, do you think they're going to actually do a grand opening, or do you think they're going to do a lot of soft openings and just one day just the
throw
wait
the
time
switch.
light's going to go on and there's going to be people outside welcoming you to the ride? Or do you think they're going to plan it out more in advance?
I personally think that they're going to do a lot of soft openings, but they are still going to have that grand, announcement that it's open and it's ready for people. Especially with what's coming up with the summer and everything else coming up in the fall with HHN, they want to get that first little intake into people to want to come down to come down to Florida to come experience Universal, and then when they see the VelociCoaster and get to ride it and be one of the first ones on it, it's just gonna bring that energy back into them. Like, okay, yeah, theme parks are back, Orlando's back. Let's keep going with that.
I like that message that you said, and I think that's definitely what VelociCoaster is going to serve. The purpose is going to serve in this industry is, okay, theme parks are back, right? And now's the best time to go to a theme park. That's going to be the messaging following the vaccine rollout. So knowing Universal's previous history with opening new attractions, I have to imagine there is going to be some sort of large spectacle when it comes to opening this attraction, right? But it may not look like a 10-hour line wrapped around the park 2 or 3 times. It may look a little different, but it is definitely going to make national news. And I think, echoing your statement, it's going to deliver that message of theme parks are back as long as it's done right.
Yeah, because who knows, before coronavirus, they might have had like Chris Pratt come down and so many actors come down, but they probably won't. But again, it feels like we're waiting so long for this coaster to open, but I'm glad that they're kind of taking their time because they'll get it right, and hopefully by the time it opens, everything mechanically will be perfect with the ride so that they don't open it and then it goes down every 5 minutes and create a lot of issues, kind of like what happened when Hagrid's opened up a few years ago.
Yeah. So I kind of want to wrap this video up talking about Universal Studios Hollywood, which is in California. It's had a lot of trouble getting open since the pandemic started.
It's been closed for over a year now.
It has been. California gave them guidance to reopen. Some California parks at the time of this filming have already announced the reopening. Universal Studios has not, again, at the time of this filming. But they announced they're opening up a Taste of Universal event. That's kind of like a tasting event we've seen at some of the California parks. An opening is on the horizon, but I think that's a great topic to dive into in our next video.
Perfect. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Please let us know what you are most excited for coming to Universal Parks and Resorts down in the comments below.
And be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube.
We're also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts, so you can find us there by searching for The Break Run. Thanks so much for watching.
Have a great day.
Bye.
So recently, there's been a lot of news come out of all the Universal parks. It's like you think about it.